Hi guys, welcome to a wave lesson. Today we're going to do a colorful wave with a lovely ocean and sky background. This is going to be really fun. I am using a green prepared canvas. I have a video about how to prepare canvases and backgrounds if you'd like to reference that. If not, you can pick your color background. It could be like a light blue, a light yellow, a light green, something in that range. Go ahead and paint your canvas, let it dry, and then switch this video back on and you'll be ready to go. I prepare my canvases because it gives my background a lot more depth. And so today I'm going to be using supplies that you can find at Michael's or Walmart or on Amazon. I like to use basic supplies so that everyone can join in and do art with me. So I'm using a palette. I'm using a 9x12 canvas board. I like to use canvas board because it's easier to give away or frame. I'm going to be using a 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, or 5/8 inch, a larger brush, and then some round brushes. And again, you can find these just at Michael's or Walmart or Amazon. I can give you a supply list as well. Okay, as far as paint, I'm going to be using Royal Langnickel Essentials brand, and I'm going to be using Artist Loft brand, Walmart, Michael's. Can find some basic acrylics online, on Amazon, on Blick Art. We don't need anything fancy because we are doing introductory painting and we are learning together, okay? So I'm going to start with a light blue. Going to be using quite a lot of blues and whites, lots of colors today, but I'm going to just sort of start putting a few colors on my palette. I want to do a very colorful style wave, and I'll show you what I mean shortly. But we're going to be blending in lots of different colors. So a little bit of light pink here. See if I can get some of that on the palette. And then we'll need some white. Been painting a lot, and so my paints are starting to get down, you know, to the end of the bottle here. All right, maybe some dark blue. I already have a lot of green in my background, so that'll just sort of stay and it'll show through as we paint this wave. And what else can we add? Maybe just a touch of purple. I have a little purple here. All right, guys, so this is going to be a wave that has a background of a sky, ocean, and then it's going to be a giant wave, okay? So I'm going to take a large brush first, and I have my brushes in water here. I'm going to dry them off with just a little towel on the side, and then I'm going to take some of this light blue, and I'm going to sort of place a few items, okay? So this is obviously not going to be finished by any means. We're going to take our time on this painting, but we do need to like place a couple elements. So the wave I'm going to place is going to be coming up like this, and we're going to be in the middle of the ocean. So it's sort of like a close-up of a wave. So it should be really fun to paint this. Okay, so I'm gonna let some of that green show through. So I'm just sort of making a C shape here. So nice wave shape. Typical what you would think of a wave as. All right. So you notice I'm not rinsing out my brush and I'm not using excessive amount of paint. A little paint goes really a long way with acrylic. Okay, so I've got that going on, and then I need to sort of place a little bit of a horizon line here. So I'm going to make that about here on the right side. And this is going to be where the rest of the ocean is. So I'm just sort of place that here. It's sort of like right at the angle of the C shape that we've created. These little visual markers are going to help us to make the painting. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Now I want to go ahead and add in a bit of the background sky. And again, this is just very rough right now. We'll detail it out as we go along. I'm going to rinse out the brush. And for the sky, it's sort of going to be like a dusk time. So I'm going to get some yellows, maybe even a touch of purple here. Let's see if we mix that together. You get sort of this dusky color. We probably need some orange too. So grab a little bit of orange real quick. So all of my paintings you can do with sort of a basic color set. You know, you can go and get like a basic acrylic set, and that should be perfect for you. I'm going to add a little bit of this dusky orange color just so we can get, you know, quite a lot of color variation. So it's sort of like a rusty orange color, but any orange will do. I'm going to mix a little bit of that orange with the yellow here and grab a little bit more without getting too messy. Okay, so something like this color. So now I've got three different colors. I've got, you know, the little tinge of purple to make this darker, and then I've got this sort of like yellow orange and then yellow, and of course the dark orange, but I don't think that we will need that one exactly. All right, and so what I want to do is make some dusky sort of clouds back here. So it's sort of like the sun is going down and, you know, the last wave of the day, and so just want to have some of this like nice orangey color coming in behind the wave. And so you can go right up to the edge of the wave here and right up to the edge of the horizon line. May need to turn your brush to get that nice crisp line there. All right, so I'll leave a little bit of spaces, but I'm sort of just swiveling my brush around and then leaving some blank spaces because we want to get a lot of color in that sky. Right, like something like that is kind of cool. Same color, that rusty orange yellow mixture. I'm just going to dab a little bit of that right onto the wave. So it looks almost sort of reflective. Just little bits here and there. Doesn't have to be a lot. We're going to go over this wave so many times with so many different colors. But it's kind of fun to throw a little bit of the color that we're using in there. Okay, I like that. Now I'm going to go back to that, you know, purpley. I just put a touch of purple with my yellow. Might put a little dab more, just to tone it down a little bit because just the yellow right out of the tube is like very bright yellow. And then maybe add, you know, a different yellow back here in the sky. So I'm sort of just swirling my brush, which is going to give me that cloud effect. And almost sunsetty kind of effect here. The green that's already on the canvas is also going to help in this situation of making these colors look nice and deep. It doesn't just look like yellow or orange on the page, does it? It looks very mixed. Okay, I like that. I'm not finishing this side of the sky. I'm going to put maybe like some blues also in the background. And then all of this strip here is going to be like a splash of waves. So it'll be whitewater. Okay. So you can kind of know where we're going with this. All right. So I'm just going to smooth this out a little and then want to add more depth to the sky. I'm still not rinsing out the brush. I'm going to grab a little bit of pink here and see what we can do with that. What happens when we mix in some little bits of pink back here, like that. So the sky is just sort of unraveling for us. We're not really trying to make cloud shapes. We're just kind of mixing colors and look at what happens. Pretty cool. All right, so I like that. You can soften it in certain areas. And now I'm going to grab a little bit purple and mix it with that pink and see, can we get a light purple to throw in there? I think that might be nice too. I'm not using very much paint, and so therefore I don't have to wipe out my brush quite a lot. Just get some nice purple, all nice and light. Some nice colors in there. A fun little sky there. Okay, so I'm liking that. Now, I want to go a little darker. I'll go ahead and rinse out this brush. I want to go a little bit darker on the wave in certain areas because we want to show that the light is shining through. So it's going to be darker over here, lighter over here, which will give us a nice contrast. So elements that your paintings need are a composition. So that means where we place things, composition, contrast, light and dark. That's going to make your painting really pop, and color. Okay, so those are our focuses. Okay, so I'm just grabbing this dark, really dark blue. I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to kind of brush this on. And I'll have this dark blue go all the way to the edge, but I'm just kind of swiping back and forth like I did with this yellow. It's going to look kind of messy right now, but we'll add more light blue in it later. And then bits and pieces again of the dark blue coming through this wave. So something like that. And then I also will do just a few touches back here of the dark blue too. Okay, now I want to mix a bit of white with this dark blue off to the side. So just more white than blue. Want to come up with some new color here, like a middle ground blue. I'm going to use that mixture for the sky back here. We'll have touches of this coming in. I'm not planning it out, as you can see. I'm just kind of going with the flow. Again, right here is all going to be white, so we don't have to worry about the edge of this wave too much. But yeah, something like this. Little touches coming in of blue so that we can kind of see that our sky is blue, but our clouds are a sunset color. Okay, something like that. And if you want to lighten that up a little bit, you can too. We can add a little bit more white on our brush and just kind of swirl it. Mix it right on the canvas. If you're not using globs and globs of paint, this will be totally doable. If you are using a ton of paint, you know, you're going to start getting drips and things aren't going to dry. So just minimal bits of color at a time here. You can do a lot with just one brush with color on it. So something like that. Okay. Now I'm going to take that same light blue. I'm going to sort of add some of that to the wave too. So the wave is almost, in a certain sense, sort of like a rainbow of the ocean colors, if you will. Okay, so I'm smoothing out the wave, adding a bit of this sky light blue into it. Go ahead and fill that in now. Okay, so that looks kind of cool. We have three or four different kinds of blues going on now. And then again, take that sky blue, add some to this background here. I'm kind of mixing it quite a lot, starting to take up the green space here. And you can still see that the wave and the whole painting has that green undertone, so that's kind of cool. Okay, next up, let's rinse out that brush really good and dry it off, or grab a new brush because we're going to work with some white, taking the water off, drying it off over here. Next up, I'm going to grab some white. Make sure your brush is like pretty dried off, it's not drippy. And I'm going to do a whole bunch of splattering, not exactly splattering, sponging, I suppose you could say, because I want the top of that wave to be really wild here. This is all the water splashing, all that lovely white water, ragged edges here. You may have to go over this a couple times. We're getting a lot of light blue because we have all that light blue underneath, and that's okay. All right, so that's pretty cool. Now we can kind of see a wave here. So fun. Okay, more white. I'm just dabbing this white on. We'll probably need to come back later and put another coat of white just so it looks more white and not too blue. Right now it's looking very light blue, and that's okay. All right, I'm liking this sky. It's looking pretty good. Now I want to take some white and same thing. We're going to sort of be wispy about it. Make some little lines here. So our goal is just lots of different colors on this wave. All right, and then I'm gonna add some little bits of white out here on the ocean. I'm sort of smoothing out to define that area, but I'm going to come back and add some more blue over it. All right, cool. So we know that it's a bit lighter on this side and a bit darker on this side. So now we can brighten this up even more. I'm going to rinse out this brush. I'm going to grab a medium-sized brush now because I'm getting a little more detailed. I want to take some of that just bright yellow, kind of add it over here underneath the wave, so you're getting this sunshine effect. I'm not going to draw a sun, but I'm just going to brighten up this area here. You can just kind of tell that it's back there. And then add a glistening to the wave with the yellow. And we'll need some more blues in here again, but just sort of placing some of this yellow. I like to just work back and forth with the painting, light and dark. A little bit even back here. It's nice. Rinse that brush out again. Grab some pinks. Pink out in the ocean. Pink with the blues is really, really nice for these ocean scapes. Some pinks up here in the wave. All these light colors are just gonna say, hey, there's sun reflection here. Some pinks down here. Not too much of any one thing, just sort of trying to get the elements of a glistening going on here. And we'll, like I said, we're going to come back with some blues, so don't be alarmed if you've got too much, like this is probably too much here. That's okay. We want lots of colors in this painting. Okay. It's sort of starting to come together. Some nice pink here. Really liking the pink, so I'm going to put a little extra pink here. Maybe some splashes up here. Nice wild wave. Okay, let's mix up. I'm rinsing out my brush. Going to mix some purple with some white. Try to come up with a nice lavendery purple color. Something like this. I'm going to come in and just sort of paint some of the ocean with this nice lavender color. We really want to get that sunset effect here. So I'm pulling some of these pink little dots that I've placed before. I'm sort of pulling them across. So it's calming down the water a little. And then I'm also going to put some of this purple up here in the clouds. Some purple up in these clouds. And some purple in the wave. Okay, I want to give my wave a little bit more of an arch, and so I'm going to come back, rinse out that brush with my original light blue. I'm going to create a little bit more of an arch here with the wave by just bringing it up a bit higher. That looks good. Bring in some more of this light blue. This is a time where we can kind of smooth out our colors. So you've got those colors in there, but the main color is going to be a light and dark blue. So we want lots of that in here too. So I'm coming back with a smaller brush, adding to this wave. All right, I like this. It's looking pretty good. This guy's going to be arched way up here. And I'm just sort of blending a whole bunch of this color that we've placed with this light blue. So the light blue is going to kind of unify the whole painting. So I'm putting little bits of it over here, just sort of wisping back and forth. And this is how we get This is how we get a painting where you look at it and say, wow, look at all those different colors within the painting. And I'm just sort of working back and forth on, do I need more blue? Do I need more color? What looks good? The light blue is looking really nice. It's unifying the whole piece here, but I still have those cool greens and purples all throughout the painting. And as you're going, these colors are going to be mixing. All right, maybe a tinge of dark blue just right on the tip of my brush. And that'll give us a nice mixture. We can kind of pull down a little bit. Okay, it's coming together. All right, and we need to lighten up this sky just a little bit back here. So we need a little bit more white. Put this right by our yellows. Just kind of mix this together. Get a nice lighter yellow color. I just want to lighten pieces of this sky up a bit here. Even a bit of white too, to mix around. Right. So we're hopefully going to end up with a painting that has lots and lots of different colors in it. Adding a little bit of white to the sea here. I'm going to add a bit of white to the wave again. So there's a lot of working back and forth on a painting like this because we're trying to capture all these lovely colors. And then we have to look at it and say, oh, that looks a little bit too bright there, or that doesn't look bright enough. And we can add a bit to lighten or darken. Right. This area here is very, very arched. So you want to give those brush strokes arching downward. Bit of that light yellow down here. All right. Now I can grab even a bit of purple over here. Let's give some nice depth to the top of this wave with a little bit of darker color. And then I think that the only thing that we're missing is going back over with some white. So I want to soften this area just slightly that's around the wave, and then I want to add a whole bunch of white here for the splashing. So I'm going to take some white. I'm going to just use a circular motion to kind of mix what's already here, just to soften it just a little bit less brush strokes, a little bit more soft cloud look to it. That's nice. Okay. A little bit more well defined there. Nice and soft. And this is actually just going to help our eye be drawn to the barrel of the wave, because it's going to be light and the splash is going to be light. Okay. Another large brush that's rinsed out. Grab some more white. And then really going to add a whole bunch of white up here just to make this wave feel complete. Maybe some little splashes here and there by turning the brush. It's sort of just chaotic up here at the top, which is fun to paint. And then I'm going to need more white. My palette's running out of space here, but I have one extra spot. Okay, grab more white here on my brush. So it's almost a little see-through because it's a splash, you know, so you can kind of see through it a bit by dabbing it over the yellow, over the sky. Okay. And our wave is coming together here. You use just the corner of the brush, corner tip of the brush to sort of dab and get that extra spray effect. Right. Like that. When it dries, we may need to come back and give it, you know, a little more coat of white. If you feel like yours is done, this is a good stopping point. You just kind of go with this white until you feel like it looks like a wave to you. Nice and chaotic at the top. And it might be nice to dab a bit more pink in the sky. Just give it a little bit more dimension here. And the pink looks sort of reflective, kind of cool. All right, guys, and I think we're just about done with the sky. You can come in with a smaller brush and add some little details at the edge if you like. Just some little splashes of water. And even come back with a little bit of light blue and sort of highlight this curve here. All right, guys, I hope that you have had a great time with this wave today and learned a bit about color mixing for your composition. And I will see you back next time for another fun art lesson. And thanks for joining me, guys. Have a great day.